Talking about bonus sex.
Bonus X. Talking
about bonus X.
Bonus.
You like bonus?
Listen to that bonus X.
Just
Hey, we got
bunch
a
of bonus
bonus X.
Brought to you by
Bonus X.
You could want bonus X.
It's time for bonus.
Bonus X is happening in 3, 2, 1.
I have a pretty good
Immediately.
track record of like getting the exact pitch in these scenarios.
Let's do it.
We'll see.
Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
All right.
So, you ready?
Yeah. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. 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 Ba-da-da. I don't know the next part.
I'm just going to jump straight into the...
X-Men.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The X-Men theme by Matt and Don.
Not original.
We actually recorded that without the song. For real.
Yeah, I mean, this is a new game launch. We've got September 4th. X-Men. Wait, The Uncanny X-Men.
The Uncanny X-Men.
Which I always thought was a weird word for a children's cartoon.
Uncanny.
At the time. Yeah.
They can't be canned.
Yeah. They're not cannibal.
Cannibal. They're
not cannibal.
They're not canny. They're the X-Men.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of in shock right now. We just watched we watched both Stern trailers.
Yeah.
And
so yeah, we are now, what day is today?
September 7th.
7th. Okay, so we've been avoiding spoilers at all, trying to not watch this trailer. It's hard to avoid.
It's been impossible.
Yeah.
Scrolling through every other post, is something about it, and
but actually, I think I did a pretty good job. The only thing I knew before we watched the trailer today was just from that initial like teaser video where the Sentinel head comes up.
Yes. Well, yeah.
That's pretty much all I saw.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Same. I am shook, dude. I am shook.
Shook and shocked
and shocked. I'm kind of blown away. Like what I'm trying to say is that I'm shocked / shook in a good way.
Yeah.
This has answered our call a little bit.
I thought you were gonna say answered your prayers. Like you're kneeling beside the bed every night, like dear pinball gods.
Dear pinball god.
Please Stern.
Bring me something with many ramps and toys.
So many ramps.
And fun. Things that move. Unpredictable paths.
Weird fingers.
Something different.
I think I feel the same way. Like, just looking at this game, it was like, I didn't think that this could be a thing anymore.
I liked your comment that when we first watched the trailer, you were like, wait, how many ramps are in this thing? That's the question that I had, but I didn't realize I had the same question. It was more of a feeling. And then you said it, and I was like, oh my God, how many ramps are there? What is happening? What is going on? There's a finger.
He was going through the list of features, and he's like, and this feature is a ramp. And this next feature, a ramp. And this next feature, also a ramp. It just went on forever.
Man, I love it, dude. Jack Danger went buck wild, dude.
Yeah.
I feel like he went into that danger room and he cranked this thing out. Like he trained for this. This is exciting.
So anytime I watch, like getting ready to watch a Stern reveal video, because we've done this a few times now.
Yeah.
I have expectations that are kind of like relative to every other Stern game that's come out in the last, 5-6 years or whatever. You kind of think like, all right, kind of know what we're getting into. Yeah. It's going to be this and this.
2 flippers at the bottom.
Yeah, maybe an upper flipper on the right.
Maybe like an upper right flipper, a couple ramps.
Yeah, a couple ramps.
Fanny type layout or something.
Yeah. Toys that you've seen other places, but, they're kind of slightly different variations on that.
Weird fonts.
Yeah.
And
that's kind of it. So yeah, I mean, I guess going into it with those sort of expectations and you see this layout and like this playfield and stuff, and you're just kind of like, what? We had to pause the video like several times because we couldn't like wrap our head around like what was happening.
What is happening, man? It's exciting.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love the colors, like the aesthetic.
Yeah.
And the whole, I mean, it kind of matches our colors.
Yeah, it's kind of neon-y and 90s-y colorful. And, I mean, the artwork looks...
Yeah, the artwork is awesome, man.
It's pretty great. You know, it's Jeremy Packer artwork, everybody's favorite comic-style pinball artist.
Yeah, yeah.
Godzilla, among others, you know. But, it does feel like kind of even more elevated than the previous ones.
It feels, I don't know how to say it, man. It feels better somehow. It feels more appropriate. It feels more... So here's an example, right? The bash target, the Sentinel, he actually looks like a comic.
Yeah.
He looks like part of the artwork, you know, which is cool because he doesn't stand out as like a totally different object. It kind of does immerse you in the space and the artwork and the layout. Yeah. Which I thought was really cool.
You know, on some level, like, okay, we've seen a lot of like comic art pinball games in the last 10 years, including an X-Men game in 2012.
Is that the one with the giant Wolverine?
Yeah.
I haven't played that one, but
it's actually really fun, I will say, except the Wolverine target is way too big and has like it doesn't have good feedback when you hit it. Like you want a bash target to kind of like move or react like the Walking Dead Well Walker guy or something. Right. The giant Wolverine just doesn't really...
He's like a canny.
He's more canny.
He's a canny Wolverine.
Yeah. But yeah, it feels like they had extra time to work on it or something. You know, it's just like a little bit next level,
It kind of does feel next level, man.
Yeah.
And the second thought I had, besides the cool aesthetic and artwork, what Godzilla is today, when this game comes out.
Could this be the next,
I don't know, man.
like game that everybody falls in love with
it's
and
got all
rises
the toys.
to the top of the list?
It's got all the cool art.
Maybe. Somehow I feel like Godzilla is going to keep its throne just based on the somewhat more traditional layout.
Right.
I wonder if it'll be more divisive among like the casual players because it is so unusual.
For this game, man, like I'm watching it, you know, in the trailer and I'm looking at the Playfield images and that third flipper on the bottom, right?
Yeah.
Immediately I'm like, I got to play this game differently now. I can't just use the same strategies that I use for left and right. Like now I have to incorporate this other element of this side flipper.
The whole like third flipper on the left, you know, it actually replaces the left in lane.
Yeah.
And you've got a pop bumper right there.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly this is original. You know, to me, the third flipper over there, the Danger Room.
The
Jack Danger Room, kind of reminds me of like an upper playfield.
Yeah.
But it's down in the left corner, out of the way, sort of.
It's like an upper playfield, but as low as you can go.
Yeah, it's an upper, super lower playfield.
Yeah. It's freaky, man. I don't know. Like I'm looking at it right now and it's freaking me out a little bit.
But
I love it.
It's an upper playfield, quote unquote, that also makes it into the pro version, which is interesting.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. This does also replace, there's no left slingshot in this. There's just the pop bumper. So you're kind of substituting these in lanes and these kind of passive components of pinball with something more active and interesting, which seems like a pretty smart layout decision.
I don't know if you noticed on basically the right out lane.
Yeah.
It is the area where the ball plunges out. This game is missing out lanes. It's interesting.
Yeah,
man.
yeah, because within like 30 or a minute of the trailer starting, you said, is this a wide body? Because you were like, how can you have that much stuff?
Yeah.
And it's because he's kind of moved
it around,
eliminated some things that are maybe arguably kind of redundant or unnecessary. Really curious to see how this game is going to play.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly my feeling. It's like, I'm going to have to play this game in a different way because I think I'm going to play this game as its own thing. Like it's still pinball, but
it's not only still pinball, it's more
pinball.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're figuring out stuff again. You're trying to figure out new things and new shots. And like when all the games pretty much shoot the same, it starts to feel kind of stale. This I'm so excited about because
it's offset.
I'm not even centered. Yeah, like
it's offset.
Am I going to play a little bit leaning more one way to kind of make up for that, you know, or what's going to happen? I don't know.
I mean, so, you know, it's not the first offset flippers game, obviously. Right. Like a lot of Pat Lawler games are offset flippers. This seems almost even more offset than those that I'm thinking of, like Funhouse, for example. I mean, there's almost an equal amount of space between the three flippers.
So that's what I'm saying. It's almost like my body is going to be centered with the quote-unquote left flipper.
Yeah.
which is now the center flipper.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have a left flipper, center flipper, and right flipper. That's how I think I'm going to approach this game.
Well, so previously you've said you don't like having that extra like flipper beside the flipper, but this is different. Yeah. It's not really linked to the two main flippers.
Right. So I think I am going to like this one.
Yeah.
Because I don't like that Gottlieb mess, with
the Starship Trooper
fat
flipper fingers.
Yeah. This feels right, dude. This feels like the first 3 lower flipper game or multi-lower flipper game that I'll actually like. And it also has functionality in the danger room.
Yeah, I wonder how it's going to affect just the shot geometry in general. You'd think on some level having the 2 flippers off to the side might make some of the shots, harder than you're expecting because stuff's just not quite where you're used to it being.
I know.
It's going to change all that geometry and force people to kind of learn this game from scratch, which is pretty awesome.
So many questions, so much excitement. Exactly.
X-Men generally for me, I got into it with the animated series Saturday morning cartoon in like 93 or whatever. At the time for me, that cartoon felt like something new and exciting compared to other stuff. You know, if you compare that show to like G.I. Joe or even like Turtles, it's a little more adult themed. Yeah. It's more serialized, like they continue storylines. Yeah. It very much felt like an event type of show compared to like other kids shows that were on.
It felt like a more real show. Yeah. It felt like a real story. And as a kid, I kind of felt growing up watching it. I 100% relate to that.
Yeah, and you didn't want to miss it either.
I didn't want to miss it,
if you missed it, you might never see it again. It's like unless you tape it or unless you catch a rerun. But because they were serialized, you had to keep watching it. And like that was like an event show for me. It's like Saturday morning. It's like that came on at like 11 or something, and I just would always watch it. Like I was bummed out when that show ended. And now they've got the new X-Men 97. Which is kind of a continuation of that. And I haven't watched it yet, but everybody says it's great.
I've heard that it's good, yeah.
And the rumors going into this game were that it was going to be X-Men 97, which kind of checks out because it's actually based on Days of Future Past, which was covered
it was
in the original animated series.
Part of the storyline.
And also, ended up being a movie later, and it's a story that's been hit a bunch of times, but it's basically the story. It's a part of the story from the same animated series. Right. I think there was a multi-part episode or something in the original animated series that was that story. I think the reason it's the Uncanny X-Men is because it's timed with the relaunch of that comic book series also.
Oh, that's right. I think.
Yeah. So I think like from a marketing perspective, it makes more sense for it to tie in with that, even though in a lot of ways it's very much kind of that Saturday morning cartoon vibe as well. The other thing that I was into, or around the time of the animated series in the 90s, was the comic cards. Did you ever...
X-Men comic trading cards?
Yeah. Baseball cards were huge in the 90s, and football cards and basketball cards and all that stuff. But comic cards also started to become a thing. And they had an X-Men series. I think they were by Fleer, like Fleer Ultra series or something. But it was just really cool comic art. Like really, really cool comic art on these cards. And I think I had like several sets of them. I would, collect them and stuff.
Oh my God.
What? You have some memories coming back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I had a couple of these.
Did you forget about them?
I totally forgot about these.
Yeah, they are really cool. I think I still have all mine like in little binders somewhere.
We got to go find those things right now. What are you most excited about for this game?
I want to learn a weird new playfield and layout. Like, I want to play a game that I have no idea what's going on. It takes me 20 games just to figure out what the heck's going to happen with the ball. I can't hit any of the shots on my first try. That's what I want. Yeah. I want all of these things because so many games nowadays, it's just like you pick it up and it's like, you play a few games and you got a free game and you're like, okay, I've pretty much got this down because the shots are kind of predictable and you know where everything is and where everything's going. Like the most fun for me with with pinball in general is just the first 50 to 100 games, just learning
figuring it out.
And like, it seems like this game is going to have maybe a steep learning curve, but a really fun learning curve.
I bet it's going to be tons of fun, man.
This is going to be a game that makes people a better player too.
Yeah.
Because if you own a bunch of similar games, you can get really good at those games.
Those types of games. Yeah. With those types of shots. This is totally different. And then you
play something different, and you're like, oh,
I can't hit anything.
I'm only good at the games that I've played a lot. And so you have to like stretch yourself.
For me, I'm most excited to hang out in the danger room.
Yeah.
And basically comboing everything, dude. I just want to hit ramps on ramps on ramps and combos and just hit that sentinel guy and then figure out how those arms work and the hands.
like what's the flow? What's the flow of this game?
Yeah, that's what I'm most excited about, is to basically just get in there, start hitting a bunch of shots and ramps and just kind of like play with the toys and just understand the danger room, man. I'm so curious about that. Like, what's gonna happen? Is it can I just play there the whole time? Can I just
stay in the danger
room?
Yeah, like Stewie's Playfield or something.
Yeah,
just stay there the whole time. It's like, you know what? This is the best part. I think Jack Danger understands what people want to see in a layout. And I think all of these different elements that are exciting to us that we want to see are probably in this game.
Jack Danger, thank you. Thanks for living on the edge, man, and being dangerous and not being afraid, no fear.
Yeah.
Just, you're doing it, man.
I gotta say, like, more than anything I can think of, this is the most Williamsy.
This is the Williams
game in recent memory.
In recent memory, correct. Yeah. That's how I feel as well.
I mean, even maybe like more than recent memory, like for a while.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say that too. It has strong Williams energy. I really just also wanted to give a shout out to Jack Danger and just say thanks, man, for listening and delivering, dude. You know, it's I think he's a real pinball player, and he knows that there needs to be some shakeup happening and just something different.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what it feels like.
This seems like a passion project.
Yeah.
This was not phoned in.
It's not phoned in.
Is not, somebody's been like obsessing over all the details, like trial and error, figuring everything out, like going the extra mile, and it's really cool to see. Mad
props, mad respect. Thank you, man. Like, I'm so excited to play this game. You don't even know. So here's something that I thought was interesting, right? From my perspective, usually, you know, when you see a premium or like an LE versus a pro, there are significant things about the game that are missing. And for this one, right away, it felt like pretty much most of the game is there.
I think this might be kind of the least nerfed one that we've seen in a little while. So the Sentinel doesn't go down into the playfield.
Right.
But the Sentinel target is still there. It still has the mouth thing that pops open.
The jaw,
the kickback thing.
Kickbacks, that interacts with the ball,
Which also, by the way, I think that's a wholly new thing. Like a bash target that optionally kicks the ball back at you. I don't remember seeing that ever before.
That's a good question, man. I can't think of anything right now.
Because it's like combining two things in one space, which is really efficient and cool.
I can't think of one right now.
So anyway, it keeps that, but it doesn't have the head just doesn't move up and down. I'm not sure how that affects the flow of the game and stuff, but
but either way, I mean, it still kind of keeps the essence of the bash toy. It's still there, and it's still doing the basic functionality. You know,
yeah, kind of little Rizzler Circus Voltaire vibes.
He's totally the Rizzler, yeah.
But such a better layout than Circus Voltaire. That game is cool, but I think it's a little overrated in terms of it gets a little old.
Shots fired.
Gets a little tiresome.
Fired.
That ringmaster target up there is just kind of like, okay, we get it.
I think somebody's going to come at you for that comment.
Some people love that game. I think it's good, but it's not the best. The other difference is with the Pro, it doesn't have the moving Sentinel hands.
The hands.
That makes sense. That feels like a real
bunch
kind
of extra
bonus-y sort of feature toy.
Luxuries.
Yeah. And obviously, like, those hands can affect the ball paths.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how that affects the flow of it. You know, maybe this is another, like, game where the Pro is more flowy, you know? Sure. Pros flow. That's what people say. Either way, it doesn't seem exceptionally nerfed.
But I don't think it's going to be as different as Godzilla per se. You know, like Godzilla Pro versus Godzilla LE or something. You know, it's going to be, I think, very similar to the Pro and the LE version. I think are going to play very similarly.
Yeah, and it retains the danger zone. It retains the essence of the bash toy target. I'm still going to want the premium.
Well, of course.
Mutation. It is the key to our evolution. It has enabled us to evolve from a single-celled organism into the dominant species on the planet. This process is slow, normally taking thousands and thousands of years. But every few hundred millennia, evolution leaps forward.
This feels to me like the first time I play this is going to be kind of similar to one of the first times I played pinball.
This is the most excited I've been about a new release that I can remember. This makes me feel like when I first played Radical.
Yes. Yeah.
Or other Dan Langlau games, because the ball's going forwards and backwards and sideways and like coming out in a weird spot and going across the playfield and going the other way. And
that's exactly how this feels.
Yeah, I get big Dan Langlau vibes from this, and I feel like Jack Danger is kind of picking up the mantle a little bit with this, just with these bonkers ball paths and flow and stuff. And it's like I'm pretty hyped about that.
I'm so stoked, man. Thank you, Jack Danger.
Yeah.
Like when we watched the trailer, man, and the balls were just like, he's like calling the shots and the balls are moving in. They're going in. And like, where is that going to come out? And then it's like weird. I love it.
Yeah, they're like zigzagging around.
Yeah. Man, that's what I wanted, dude, for so long.
This one feels like the next flagship in a way. It's just like, man, they didn't cut any corners with this one.
I guarantee you, though, like I already know I'm going to love it. I already know that. It's going to be weird with the flippers.
It's going to be hard not to love this game. Like, looking at all the different elements and just the layout and the playfield and the freaking 47 ramps.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for this one.